Hi, everybody. It's Tim Hagen from Progress Coaching, and I wanted to do a video to couple with this article that I wrote. Quiet quitting. Some of it's bullshit, and again, excuse the harsh language. It just is, and here's why I think it is. I am in no way thinking everything is fair. I in no way think leaders should be exonerated from the responsibility of providing opportunity of coaching and mentoring. That's what we do for a living. Yet we have to not lose sight of one thing. I want to give you a fundamental perspective. You know, when the pandemic hit, for years, and I typically don't miss a week, for years, I would do an end of the week company update. Now we're a small boutique company, 10, 12 people. And I remember the pandemic hit and one of my employees said, "Are we okay financially?" I'm like, why did I do all that stuff if you weren't going to listen to it? And it was just so interesting to me because there wasn't a reason. Look, we have to be selfish. I get that. We've got to take care of our own family. We've got to think about it ourselves. We've got to think about if I can make more money in a different job or if there's another opportunity, I'm going to go for it as much as I'm loyal. I get it. Yet we also have to, inside the company, realize one thing. The employee is in charge of themselves. The employee is in charge of themselves. If a company goes bankrupt, they don't come to the ex-employee's house and say, "You need to keep doing what I'm saying and what we provide." So as sarcastic as that comes off, this whole thing about quiet quitting, it's not new. You know, when people just come in and they're going to just do their job. Come on, how often do we hear it? "I just want to do my job and go home." Well, I just don't want to promote you or give you opportunities. Look, we got to be honest about it. Employees are in charge of themselves. Employers are in charge of providing opportunities and training and mentoring and coaching. An opportunity, not a requirement. And I had someone counter me and goes, "Well, I had this job," and he started complaining. I go, "Then quit it." They don't have you in a headlock, yet you're in charge of you. And it's a person who continues to make lateral moves because they can't go upward because they haven't educated themselves. And I'm not talking college degree. I'm talking certifications, learning on the job. There are so many opportunities for employees today. And I think about with this article, and I love the Gallup organization just came out. Less than one out of every three people are positively engaged. That's it. I think it's 31%. 31%. 7 out of 10 are neutrally or actively disengaged. There's never been a better time to differentiate yourself as an employee. So when I think about, what employees can do today, I go back to a couple fundamentals. One, become fiscally responsible. The number one thing that stresses people out is typically money, right? Studies have bared it out. So what are you doing to balance your budget at home? Do you understand the finances of your company? That is so critical. Most don't care because it's not my money. And then you get this attitude. You don't want to work for a company that's 1 month away from not making payroll. So ask the key questions. If you're at a publicly traded company, that information is available. So my question is, can you read the balance sheet? And that sounds harsh, but you are in charge of you. And I just had a conversation with somebody in the manufacturing space, someone who's a leader, no formal education, and she just continues to learn and learn. And we had a tough conversation about 3 years ago. I said, "Look, you're either progressing forward on your own or you're not. Forget the company. The company is not in charge of you." And she goes, "Yeah, but," I said, "There is no but." I said, "If the company goes bankrupt today, what are you going to do? Are you really going to come back to your ex-employer and say, 'What should I do?'" And she said, "No." And I said, "Then quit putting the responsibility on them. You are responsible for you. What are you going to do?" She said, "Well, I don't know what to do." I said, "Awesome. What do you want to do in the end?" She told me, she goes, "I want to become a leader. I want to work in the office someday." I said, "Fantastic. What are you doing right now to position yourself to get there?" In her first words, and this is typical, everybody. Most people won't say this, and I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal here. Most people won't say this. She was literally going to say, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't have time. I go, "Great, then you are where you are. You don't have time, then sit there." And she just looked at me appalled and she was angry and excuse me. she wanted to really get angry. And I go, look, think about reality. Your reality is you've done nothing. And you're complaining about something that has produced nothing. Doesn't that kind of add up to you? And she goes, yeah. And she's awesome. I love her to death. Single mom, progressing her career, learning on her own. She's going through a third level of leadership right now in an academy at this client site, and she's learning about emotional intelligence. And she was the first one in front of a large group of people to say, yeah, that's where I had issues. And she's becoming more well-received, and she's awesome, and she's tough. Employees are in charge of themselves. So we have to also facilitate learning on our own. If you want to learn how to get into the office, learn office skills. If you want to become a public speaker, learn how to do public speaking. There's no college or high school or institution that prevents people from learning. Learning does something magical too. It stimulates the brain. You feel different. You know, my employees absolutely hate me, despise me, and I hope they comment on this post. They despise me when I go on vacation. They despise me because I get time to think and learn. And I'm reading and I'm watching videos. And they're like, oh my gosh, now he's got 14 more ideas. We don't have time for this. And they're right. And so what's interesting is when we learn, we are different. Number 2, become a great teammate. Come on, we've got cliques inside. We've got people who in certain organizations fight over other people, step over them to get the next job. We don't celebrate one another like we used to. It's probably one of the things that attracts us to sports. Teammates, egos, people making millions of dollars coming together in big games and doing whatever they can for their teammates. Yeah, but it's too rare. So the whole concept about quiet quitting is nothing new. So what we have to realize as employees is that we are in charge of ourselves. The minute we do that, everything opens up. 7 out of 10 people are neutrally or actively disengaged. There has never been a better opportunity for you to leap your career going forward. Now, we do something here at Progress Coaching that is probably a passion of mine, has been for years. And let me tell you the context of it. It's called the employee difference, how to differentiate yourself for career development and personal growth. And the whole concept is you go through this course, there's a series of in-person, or I should say virtual sessions, where we work on you and we help employees look in the mirror and say, here's what I need to do to raise my game. Here's what I need to do to seek and accept feedback. Here's what I need to do to personally and professionally invest in myself. Then leaders see that, oh man, they will invest in you exponentially. And the reason it's near to me is I had an internship at IBM. I'm 58. This is almost 39 years ago. Till this day, I go back to that experience as an illustration of what I'm doing today. If I didn't have that experience, I guarantee you I would not be in the coaching space. Guaranteed. Because I had a number of people constantly investing in me. And then I started investing in myself. My wife constantly at our house goes, oh my God, you have books everywhere. I'm constantly reading and trying to get better. Now, do I think I'm pretty good? Yeah, maybe. Do I think I'm better than everybody else in their field? No. Do I think I'm in the bottom? No. I don't care because I know if I'm learning, I'm fresh. I know if I find a new tool to help my clients, they're going to be happier. I know if I need to refer them to someone who might be better in a particular situation, and yes, I have done it, then I've done my clients a service. So what we have to do as leaders is realize that this thing about quiet quitting, we got to quit being, for lack of a better description, submissive to employees. We've got to ask employees, what are you willing to do? What do you want to do? Have a career coaching conversation. Then position them so they can invest in themselves. That's the game changer. It's not the corporate training program. It's not a coaching or mentoring things that we teach. It's really if the employee becomes self-aware, looks in the mirror and says, here's what I want, here's what I'm willing to do, and here's kind of the path I'm going to go on, but I could use some assistance. If the employee also helps drive, the car will go faster to the destination. Thanks for your time.